This is the plaintiff, Arajit Ghosh. He says he rented the defendant's out-of-state townhouse, sight unseen. And the guy made it look nicer than it really was with the online pictures he posted. He moved out a few months later. The guy refuses to return the money he owes, and he's here in this court suing for the $1,365 he's owed. This is the defendant, Robert. He says the plaintiff signed a 1-year lease, bounced the first rent check, and then he doctored up a letter from his bank. Bottom line, this guy damaged his unit. He's the one who's out of money, and this guy's going to be sorry he filed this suit. He's accused of false advertising. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $385 for additional repairs.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says he rented a townhouse from the defendant, and the defendant made it look a lot better than it actually was, so he wants a refund. Now, the defendant says that he bounced his rent check and damaged his unit to boot, so he owes the guy Zippo. It's the case of townhouse Photoshop.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Mr. Ghosh, you and your wife, I guess you have power of attorney for the both of you, are suing Mr. Robert for $1,365 in security deposit that has not been returned to you. He is counterclaiming, saying you did damages to that amount and then some, another $385. Let's start with you, Mr. Ghosh. Tell me what happened.
I rented the apartment when I moved from New York to here over the online. On online, it's the picture shows all nice.
What month was that?
August 2020.
Okay.
That's when I moved in.
Yes, that's when everyone from New York moved to Florida.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
And once I moved in, I found out the carpets were dirty, the blinds were broken, the bathroom faucets were broken, and the carpet was really dirty. So I contacted the person who called me. Well, I think his name was Randy, saying why he never cleaned the apartment. And he said that I rented it as it is, and that was the clause on my contract.
Okay.
So, and down the lane, I gave him all the checks in advance because I never wanted to pay for a late fee or anything. And come in April 2021.
Wait, you did what? You wrote out every check?
Yes.
And gave him a stack of checks?
Yes, ma'am.
Really?
I mailed him. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
With the first date of every month.
Right, right. Okay.
But come in April, he sent me that, he called me saying that my check got bounced. And I called my bank to find out that it wasn't that less of money or anything from my account or my part. It was their bank made a mistake putting the account number.
You mean like somebody actually input something rather than it being scanned off of your check?
I think so.
Okay.
And I sent a letter to Randy, and he said that that's not enough. And he was accusing me of lying and accusing me of not having enough money to cover the rent.
Okay.
And then next month comes along, the check went clear, and then again in June, same thing happened. My check has bounced, and I contacted the bank, and they told me the same reason, that their bank put the wrong account number. That's why the check didn't get cleared.
Okay.
And they provided me same letter again, and I emailed him the same letter again.
How did those months get paid, though? How did they get paid? What did they do? Put it through a second time?
No, I sent them over the Zelle.
Zelle?
Yes.
Did anybody ever say to you, you have to pay our bank fees?
He told me I have to pay bank fees, I have to pay late fees.
Randy tells you this. Who's Randy to you, Mr. Robert?
Property manager.
Got it. Are you guys related or no?
Yes.
How are you related?
He's my son.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Ghosh.
In August, I told him that I'm going to move out. So I cleaned out the apartment. I took picture. I sent him everything in
When did you move out?
September 10th.
And then they re-rented it?
I paid until October.
Oh, you did?
Even though I left the apartment.
So you actually paid October rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So go on.
And then come in November, I called him and asked about the security deposit. He said it will take 30 days. And after 30 days, he sent me a letter saying that he's taking all my security deposit for cleaning, painting, late unpaid rent, bounce check fees and everything. And on top of that, he was charging me $385.
So you owed him money?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hear from you, Mr. Robert.
Okay. The first thing is that he was late on the very first payment. He said that he's late because that he didn't have my belongings were in transit. So he bounced the very first payment.
He didn't bounce it, he was late.
You're late, I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm
and
sorry,
so you
late.
charged him how much as a late fee?
$185.
Right, so you got your pound of flesh on that. So then what's the next thing that happens?
Well, so that established the track record right away. So he was late. And then at that point, he sent the checks, advance checks. Then I think like you said, April, it bounced. And we called him, said it bounced, and you have to make it good, and now you're late.
So let's take a look at it and see the evidence that it bounced. You in handwriting, you wrote bounced April check or somebody, and then when I look at it, I don't see the words insufficient funds, which is what a bounced check is. I see the words unlocate account, return reason, unable to locate account. That's what I see. So that sounds like what he was saying happened, which is through some strange mystery, somebody input a wrong digit or something because his account is there. We know it's there. So you're keeping from his deposit a whopping $670 for late fees on this April rent check. How do you arrive at $670 in late fees?
So it happened twice, Your Honor. It happened again in June. So the May went through. So
no, let's just talk about the two that didn't, because the other one says the exact same thing. What it says is unable to locate account. It doesn't say insufficient funds, which is what a bounced check is. So he says, and he provides evidence from Schwab saying your bank screwed it up. Somehow, whoever's inputting something did something wrong because this account exists and he had a balance in it. So you tell me how you're going to keep $770 of his security deposit, $100 for bounced check fees, and $670 for late fees for two checks that apparently were the problem of your bank.
Well, I don't believe they were the problem of my bank. And I called my bank and they said the check did not clear.
Yeah, no, the check did not clear is obvious. The check did not clear could be one of two reasons. It could be because he has insufficient funds, in which case you're right. And then you get late fees and bounce check fees and your bank fees and all that. Or something went wrong through the banks. I see the evidence from his bank that says that your bank put in a wrong, manually inputted it and put 00 instead of 09. Now you show me the evidence from your bank saying that didn't happen. Do you have that?
I don't.
You have no evidence it was insufficient funds. In fact, the evidence you give me says unable to locate account. But you and I both know the account exists, right? Because all the other checks cleared, right? So tell me how it is that you feel justified in holding $670 for late fees. How do you arrive at that math? I want to know.
So I've entered into evidence the lease document is for a late payment is $185, and then it's $10 a day. He was called on the very first day it bounced and said, make it good.
You keep using the word bounce. I ask you again, do you have any evidence it bounced?
Well, I didn't get the funds, ma'am. I don't know the inner workings of the bank.
That's called fail to clear. And the failure to clear is not a bounced check. Do you understand what a bounced check is? It means that he doesn't have the funds, which is 100% his fault, if that's true. But if a check fails to clear because of reasons completely unrelated to his soul or his intent or his goodwill, how is it that you're going to keep $770 of his security deposit for just that?
Well, in the conversation we had, I told him that the rent did not clear.
No, it's worse than that. Let's look at what your son tells him. Randy, your son, says, can you have your bank call our bank and have them undo all the fees? If we do not have the funds by Monday, we will start the eviction. I'm sorry. Based on what?
Based on the fact that we didn't receive the funds. And we
I'm sorry. The only evidence of why you didn't was that your bank screwed up. So on what grounds did you think you were going to get this man evicted, or do you threaten to get him evicted? He paid his rent. He gave it to you, and there's a snafu between the banks. What landlord tells him, you make your bank call my bank and reverse my $20 fee or else I'm evicting you? I mean, that's just nonsense. My bank cannot call your bank without you on the line. Oh, he's actually doing it. He's actually going to. Do you want me to call the bank? They want you on the line too. Randy, you can call them and have them undo all the fees. If we do not have the funds by Monday, we will start the eviction. Are you kidding me? I will send you the rent and the letter from the bank. I will cancel the check, which means you paid to cancel the check, right? You paid a fee, Mr. Ghosh, to cancel the check.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I am not paying bounce check fee because it was your bank's fault. I informed you and I requested you call your bank. All right. Money for cleaning. Why are you keeping $285 for cleaning?
Because he left the unit dirty. We had to send the cleaner in to clean it up.
Okay. Did you provide the unit clean to him?
Yes.
So do you have pictures of the unit as you provided it to him?
No, I didn't provide that.
Okay. So you, however, Mr. Ghosh, do have pictures of when you moved in, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because Mr. Ghosh was a little upset. Why is there this picture of the blinds? What should I see in this picture?
It wasn't closing or opening.
It won't close or open.
Yeah.
This is the rug?
There was nails sticking out from the rug.
Oy.
And it's all the floor were stained, all the carpets were stained, and there are
Did you complain about the condition of the, oh, this one shows paint chipping
Yes.
from the walls.
Yes.
Oop, chipped toilet, cracked toilet top. Oy.
It was so dirty that we didn't let our daughter play on the carpet.
So the first thing you do when you move in is you sent him your list of complaints, and he said what to you? What did Randy say to you when you sent him, this is broken, this is filthy, this is, what did Randy say to you?
You rented it as it is.
Oh, look at that, as is.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The defendant says the plaintiff doctored up a statement from the bank so it would look like he didn't bounce the check, and that is criminal fraud. Let's go back into the courtroom and find out what the judge thinks.
To recap, you have kept $285 for cleaning, but you have no evidence that you turned it over to him clean. In fact, he has evidence that you turned him over to him filthy. You have kept $695 for wall damages and painting, but you would have to prove that your prior tenant, who apparently was a pig, okay, because I've seen these rugs, didn't damage those walls himself. The way a landlord proves that is by showing the pictures of how they turned it over to the plaintiff, but you've already admitted you don't have those pictures. You have kept $670 for late fees for rent because, according to you, his checks bounced, which is something you have said now, I don't know, I feel like a bouncing ball saying it over and over and over and over, except you have zero evidence that his checks bounced. And in fact, the only evidence is that Charles Schwab says your bank inputted wrong. Now, you actually say in your answer to the complaint that that letter is a cut and paste fraud. Do you have any evidence of that?
No, I've just been doing this 35 years, and I've never received a check that I didn't get the funds that wasn't bounced. So I've never seen this.
Yeah, okay. So,
But
and
I didn't get
$100
paid,
for
so-
two bounce check with no evidence of a bounce check fee. And he owes you, according to your math, $385 on your counterclaim. Okay, on your counterclaim, which we're going to handle first, no, he doesn't owe you a penny. And I think that that's a tactic to scare him into not suing you. Because here's a guy who you were able to turn over an apartment that looked like garbage and didn't say, give me back my deposit. He just goes in there, starts cleaning things up, but not only is no good deed, left unpunished, you then keep his deposit and tell him, not only am I not giving you a penny back, but you're going to pay me $385, hoping he leaves with his tail between his legs. But he didn't. He's suing you. And there are many states that allow a judge to give double the security deposit when money's wrongfully withheld. I don't think I've ever done that in my career, ever. If I could do this in the state of Florida, I would do it. Because I think it couldn't be clearer to both Randy and Robert that that check didn't bounce and that the only evidence there is that something else happened. So for them to withhold $770, the other parts may be arguable, but that would have been wrongfully withheld. But Florida doesn't have that statutory scheme. It doesn't allow me to double it, so I cannot. Alas. So what am I going to do? On his counterclaim 0 and on your claim against him, $1,365 plus your court costs plus every penny of Florida statutory interest from the time he should have paid you when you moved out until now. That is my verdict.
Robert, I got to tell you, this was not a good day for you in court. Let's just put it that way. What are you thinking?
It's a great day. For me, I think it's a great day. Justice was served, and God bless you.
You know, it makes you look like the landlord from hell, quite frankly. Mr. Ghosh, you should be happy. The judge really was on your side here for many reasons. What are you thinking?
I'm happy, and I wish no other people will go through this.
Well, he sure did try to take advantage of you, no question about that. And he
Yes,
got
sir.
shot down by the judge. Okay. Good luck to you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You get what
Thank
you were
you.
seeking. Well, that's an amazing case, Harvey. What do you think about that landlord?
Well, Doug, the reason the plaintiff in this case won is simply these photos. Photos are everything. Video is everything. You look at the photos and you look at the townhouse and you can make a decision. My advice is live stream the actual look at the unit before you rent it. Because if it's live streamed, it's much harder to make it look like it isn't.
In what ways has this pandemic changed your life?
We probably all know somebody who's been severely affected by it in terms of actual health problems or has lost somebody. Yeah. But me personally, how it's changed my life is I'm a very social being. Yeah. I find this very difficult.
Yes.
And I'm really sick of it.
Right.
I'm
Whereas
sick
I've been social distancing for about 50 years.
Right.
So for me, it's not that big a problem.
So for you, it's like, ooh, we get to stay home. But I have found new and creative ways, and so have my friends, to be able to continue to keep contact. At first, it was back in the early days of the pandemic, we would have happy hour on Zoom. Then I said, this is ridiculous. Let's all meet at my cul-de-sac, and everybody
like
came
15 feet apart.
15 feet apart with our chairs. This was the time when our kids were getting into college, and we had so much stuff to celebrate, and our kids were all friends. So then we had little pods, like the family would bring their own chairs, their own bottle of wine, and their own glass, and they'd be there, and we'd be here, and everybody would be 10 feet away.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Their own hors d'oeuvres. They would bring their own snacks, and we just all kind of holla. And then by the time a year had passed and we were vaccinated, the circle got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then when there would be another variant, it got wider and wider. But I've been very careful about my mother because she's 96 years old. So I hate it.
Okay, that's going to do it for this session of the People's Court. By the way, you want more People's Court? Check out our podcast. Check out our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.